In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 college football games happening on September 6, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Ole Miss versus Kentucky. The Southeastern Conference slate kicks off in Lexington as Ole Miss travels to face Kentucky, and the stakes already feel high. Last year, the Wildcats shocked the Rebels in Oxford, pulling off one of the upsets of the season and derailing Ole Miss's playoff hopes. That result still lingers in Oxford, and there's no doubt Lane Kiffin will be eager to make a statement this time around. The Rebels couldn't have asked for a smoother start to 2025, blasting Georgia State in their opener. While it's never wise to draw too many conclusions from Week 1 mismatches, the offense looked sharp even without Jackson Dart. Redshirt sophomore Austin Simmons stepped right in, firing for 341 yards and 3 touchdowns, though he also threw a pair of interceptions. The Rebels' passing game has all the weapons needed to cause trouble, with one of the deepest receiver rooms in the country and a run game that looks revitalized behind a physical offensive line. Kentucky, on the other hand, barely got out of the gates against Toledo. Their 24-16 win was more survival than statement. The Wildcats' offense was completely one-dimensional. They ran the ball 42 times, passed just 23, and their receivers managed only 4 total catches for 12 yards. Zach Calzada finished with a meager 85 passing yards, and against a mid-level Mid-American Conference defense, that isn't encouraging. Kentucky wants to slow games down, lean on the run, and play ball-control football. Against most Southeastern Conference defenses, that might at least keep things competitive, but against Ole Miss's tempo-driven attack, it feels like a recipe for falling behind quickly. Ole Miss has its flaws, transfers make up much of the roster, and chemistry questions linger, but they're explosive where it matters most. Simmons has already shown poise, and even with occasional turnovers, his ability to stretch defenses vertically makes the Rebels dangerous on every possession. Kentucky's defense can only bend so long before Ole Miss starts breaking plays loose. With the Wildcats' lack of passing balance and offensive punch, it's hard to see them trading blows for 4 quarters. As our first pick for this matchup, the Mississippi Rebels to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. As for the total, the number is set around 50, and the over deserves strong consideration. Ole Miss's offense under Kiffin is built on tempo, creativity, and volume of plays, and they showed in Week 1 that Simmons can keep the machine humming. With a stable of receivers who can win one-on-one and a run game that churns out consistent gains, the Rebels are capable of putting up points in a hurry. It wouldn't be surprising if they approach 40 on their own. Kentucky's offensive ceiling is limited, but they can still contribute to the scoreboard. Running back Dante Dowdle is physical enough to break chunk plays, and Ole Miss's aggressive defensive front can sometimes give up short fields if they miss on pressure. The Wildcats may not keep pace, but they don't need to. Just enough steady drives and red zone conversions can push this game past the posted number. Combine Ole Miss's quick strike potential with Kentucky's ability to grind out points in spurts, and the pace sets up for a game that clears the total. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Kansas versus Missouri. The border war renews in Columbia this weekend as Kansas makes the short trip east to face Missouri in what should be one of the most emotionally charged matchups of Week 2. For years, Missouri has leaned on its Southeastern Conference pedigree and home field advantage, but Kansas comes in under Lance Leipold as a far different program than the one Tiger fans remember dominating. This is no longer the pushover Jayhawks squad of old. This is a confident, balanced team that has found stability and belief under its current regime. The biggest difference maker is at quarterback. Jalen Daniels isn't just one of the best players in the Big 12. He's a legitimate Heisman dark horse. Daniels has the dual-threat skill set to hurt defenses both through the air and on the ground, and he thrives in high-pressure environments like this rivalry clash. Having an elite quarterback keeps Kansas competitive against anyone, and it's why they've become one of the most profitable underdog teams in the country. The Jayhawks are 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 as a dog, and they've won outright in their last 3 underdog spots. That kind of trend speaks to both coaching coaching and composure. Missouri, of course, deserves respect. The Tigers boast Southeastern Conference-level talent and depth, and they look sharp in their opener against Central Arkansas, smothering the run and forcing quick 3-and-outs. But facing Kansas is a different challenge. Leipold's team can score in multiple ways, and the Jayhawks' offensive line has improved enough to give Daniels time to work through progressions. Missouri will try to impose their physicality and win in the trenches, but this Jayhawks team has proven it can match up better than most expect. In a rivalry setting, with momentum on Kansas's side and a proven record as a dog, they're too live to ignore. As our first pick for this matchup, the Kansas Jayhawks to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The total, meanwhile, leans toward a grinder rather than a shootout. Kansas has already played 2 games this season, and even though the opponents weren't strong, the Jayhawks' defense dominated. They haven't given up more than 7 points in a contest, and that speaks to both improved depth and sharper discipline across the unit. Missouri also showed defensive teeth in their opener, bottling up Central Arkansas and controlling tempo throughout. Both defenses are better than in recent years thanks to stronger pass rushes and improved linebacker play. That means possessions are likely to be limited, with long drives stalling out and red zone trips ending in field goals instead of touchdowns. Rivalry games also tend to carry added intensity, which can suppress scoring even further. While both teams have the ability to break out offensively, the matchup and setting point to a low-scoring battle where every possession matters. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Troy versus Clemson. The number 8 Clemson Tigers return home on Saturday looking to regroup after a frustrating season-opening loss to LSU. Dabo Swinney's group is now 0-1, but the Tigers get a much softer landing spot in Week 2 with the Troy Trojans visiting Death Valley. For Clemson, this isn't just about picking up a win, it's about re-establishing rhythm on offense and showing that they can still be a dominant team against overmatched opponents. Cade Klubnik remains the centerpiece of this offense, and while he didn't wow anyone last week, his track record against lesser defenses suggests he should thrive here. Klubnik may not be a surefire superstar, but he's efficient when he has time and space to work, and Troy's defense is unlikely to generate the same level of pressure LSU did. The Trojans gave up nearly 30 points per game last season, ranking 91st nationally in scoring defense, and they don't have the horses to hold down an Atlantic Coast Conference contender for 4 quarters. Clemson's receivers should find separation early, and this could be a breakout spot for the Tigers' passing attack. Defensively, Clemson remains elite. Even in the loss to LSU, the Tigers held Brian Kelly's squad to just 17 points and 108 rushing yards, showing why their front 7 is among the best in the nation. The defensive line is the backbone of this unit, rated number 1 in the country by PFF entering the season, and it's a mismatch nightmare for a Troy offense that leans heavily on the run. The Trojans called 44 rushing plays to just 24 passes in their opener against Nichols, but grinding it out on the ground simply isn't a viable path against this defensive front. Expect Clemson to collapse running lanes, force Troy into long passing downs, and ultimately keep the Trojans bottled up throughout the game. Add in the Death Valley atmosphere, and this looks like a get-right opportunity for the Tigers. Klubnik should play efficiently, the defense will suffocate Troy's offense, and the gap in athleticism across the board is massive. As our first pick for this matchup, the Clemson Tigers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When it comes to the total, this matchup leans under. Troy's run-heavy approach is not designed for quick scoring, and they'll struggle to move the ball consistently against Clemson's defensive front. Even if they extend a few drives, field goals may be their best-case scenario. On the other side, while Clemson should roll, they're not built to chase 60-point explosions. The Tigers have been more methodical under Klubnik, using balanced drives rather than sheer explosiveness. The trends also point that way. Clemson is 5-1 to the under in its last 6 games as a favorite. That's a strong indicator of how Swinney's teams tend to control pace and lean on defense to suffocate opponents once they establish a lead. With Clemson projected to hold Troy to single digits and their own offense unlikely to run up the score late, the under has clear value. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Arkansas State versus Arkansas. The in-state battle between Arkansas State and Arkansas takes center stage Saturday evening in Little Rock, and both teams come in brimming with confidence after high-scoring openers. Arkansas State knocked off Southeast Missouri State, while Arkansas rolled over Alabama A&M. For the Red Wolves, the win marked a promising start to their season, but it also exposed significant defensive vulnerabilities that could prove costly against a Southeastern Conference opponent. Arkansas State allowed SEMO to complete over 72% of its passes for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns, numbers that stand out when considering the step-up in class they'll face here. The Razorbacks come into this one with momentum behind quarterback Talon Green, who lit up Alabama A&M by throwing for more than 300 yards and 6 touchdown passes. That type of production fits directly into the weak points of the Red Wolves secondary. Even if Arkansas State's offense continues to click, their defense is going to have major trouble slowing down the Razorbacks' passing attack, especially in a venue where Arkansas fans will be in full voice. The Razorbacks' strength lies in their balance. Their offensive line looked sharp in Week 1, giving Green ample time to attack vertically, while the running game did enough to keep defenses honest. Against an Arkansas State defense that showed cracks against an football championship subdivision-level opponent, the ceiling for Arkansas's offense is very high. On the other side, while the Red Wolves can move the football and have improved quarterback play, their offensive line will be tested by an Arkansas defense that is far more physical than anything they faced in Week 1. With Southeastern Conference speed and size on their side, the Razorbacks should gradually pull away as the game goes on. As our first pick for this matchup, the Arkansas Razorbacks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Arkansas State went over the number in its opener, combining with SEMO for 66 points against a total of 59.5. The Red Wolves' offense is capable, but their defensive struggles are what really drive overs. They simply can't get enough stops against competent offenses. Arkansas, meanwhile, stayed under in its opener, scoring 59 total points with Alabama A&M. That said, it's important to note that the Razorbacks' offense was efficient and explosive. It was only the lack of push from the opponent that kept the score below the line. This week, Arkansas will get far more possessions and opportunities to put points on the board thanks to Arkansas State's fast pace and leaky defense. It wouldn't be surprising to see the Razorbacks crack 40 or even 50 points on their own. The Red Wolves can contribute as well, as their passing game should generate enough production to keep things moving. With Arkansas's firepower and Arkansas State's defensive issues, this one has all the makings of a shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston versus Rice. The Bayou Bucket is back, and while Houston enters as the more talented program, this rivalry has a way of producing closer games than expected. The Cougars boast superior speed and athleticism across the board, but Rice has consistently punched above its weight as a double-digit underdog. In fact, the Owls stunned Houston in 2023 with an overtime win as a 7-point dog. And they've covered the spread in 7 of their last 8 chances when catching double digits. Add in the fact that Rice has outright won its last 2 games in this role, last week against Louisiana and late last season against Navy, and it's clear this isn't a team that folds under pressure. Houston, meanwhile, could be in a flat spot. With Colorado looming on the schedule, it's fair to wonder if Dana Holgorsen's team will be fully dialed in against Rice. The Cougars are more than capable of pulling away with their offensive firepower, but the Owls' defense has been stout to open the season, and they've built a reputation under Mike Bloomgren for disciplined physical play. Houston may still find ways to score, but Rice is not likely to roll over at home in a rivalry setting. As our first pick for this matchup, the Rice Owls to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Turning to the total, this matchup points toward the under. Rice has leaned heavily on its defense to keep games competitive, and their ability to limit explosive plays has been a big reason why they've thrived as an underdog. Houston's offense, while capable of putting up big numbers, may not be operating at full throttle with Colorado waiting next week, which could mean fewer deep shots and more conservative play calling. Rivalry games also tend to lean defensive, with both sides knowing each other's schemes well and playing with extra intensity in the trenches. The Owls want to slow the game down and shorten possessions, while Houston's defense is talented enough to keep Rice from stringing together long scoring drives. Combine those factors with a rivalry atmosphere where every yard is contested, and the likelihood of this turning into a lower scoring battle grows. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.